Well, good morning. All right, so on Friday we worked on something called a shell game. A shell game is a game where you have a ball under one of three shells or cups, and the shells are moved around, and the person playing the game has to guess which shell the ball actually is. For our program today, we are just going to be making there won't be any animation to it, it will all be just one static thing. But it will contain some buttons. So let's go ahead and get to that. I'm on code.org's app lab. Link should be up in eCampus. And I'm going to start off by going to this design tab here. And I'm going to drag out a label. The label, please don't use the text input or the text area. Please use the label. A label is something we're going to use for writing down how the person actually did in our game, whether or not they won or lost. Because remember, the point is that they are going to see three shells down here, which I'm going to represent with three buttons. Three shells down here, and they're going to decide which one to click on, and then based on a random chance, we're going to see if they got it right or not. So let's go and do that. For this, I of course will need three buttons, which you can see me pulling from over here, and then two labels up here. I'm going to get a second label out. This one's going to be for you lose. And with that, we have three buttons, two labels. All right, let's add a little bit more to it. For button 1, I'm going to change the button text to just 1. I'm also going to resize it. Resize the text itself so that it's showing 1, 2, 3, making it very easy to read. I'm also going to add an image. You don't have to do this, but I downloaded an image for the shell. Alright, I guess I kind of lost the shell. Wait, no, there it is. Awesome. There we go. So I got a little shell for it. Alright, you don't have to do that part, but that's just simply going here to the image, being choose, and then uploading your own image there. So with that, I have three buttons, two labels. I can actually exit my design tab now and go back to the code tab. Alright, now if I were to run this app, you'll see that I have buttons that I can click on. My cursor changes to show that these are clickable, and add these two labels. Ooh, before we go on, let's back to design, and for each of these labels, I want you to go ahead and scroll down to the bottom here and turn it to hidden. And you'll see it kind of blank out a little bit, and then when we go back to code, they'll actually disappear. They're still there, they're just hidden. So let's go ahead and do this now. In the toolbox there in the center, go to variables and have var x equals blank. Alright, we're going to have this be our random number, and we're going to just start off at 0. Now what it's going to do is I'm going to next go ahead and set x equal to something, but I'm going to give it in a function. Some of our functions are collections of repeatable programming codes that we expect to repeat several times in our program. In this case, I'm going to bring out this first part here for function, and this function is going to be called makeRandom. I rename functions based on what they do. That's of course being preceded with what type of thing it is. By the way, in JavaScript, all of the things we make, like variables and functions, are named as such. We label them as what they are, give it a name, and then give it some kind of value or a list of codes to execute. In this case, it's a function called makeRandom, and what it does is it's going to take our variable x, which variables are just like, a lot like variables in math. They're represented with a letter, and they can hold numbers. In programming, however, we do allow for more than one letter, like this could be a longer name, and we do allow for giving it words and such. But for now, we're just going to focus on numbers. I'm going to go to the math toolbox here because I want to go down to this random number function. Random number function takes two pieces, we call these parameters, and it's just simply the bounds of our randomness. X will be a random number between 1 and 3. If you're really familiar with programming, it's 1 through 3 inclusive because 1, 2, and 3 are all possible. Alright, so once I've done this, I have to actually do the thing called calling the function. Remember, from what little we've done in code.org probably, that a function does not execute until it's been called. Calling it is where you call it by name, like that. With that, nothing will happen, but this is happening in the background. Alright, so let's go on to the next part. What we have to do now is we're going to go to UI controls, and I am going kind of fast, but that's just because we're on a bit of a deadline. Sorry. Go to the take the on event thing here. The on event is a UI control, a user interface control that will execute the stuff in between its brackets here whenever a certain event happens. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and handle for the event that button 1 is clicked on. So in the event that button 1 is clicked, and we'll keep it on click, then I want to do a couple things. First, if I clicked on button 1, if the user clicked on button 1, then that means that the user is guessing that the ball is hidden under button 1. So the first thing you need to do then is go to this blue control toolbox, go to the if statement there, drag it over, put it here. Then I'm going to go to math, and I'm going to bring out this double equal sign. This double equal sign checks the equality between two things. We use two equal signs instead of one. So I'm checking to see if x is equal to 1. Hopefully it makes sense. Why? Because we are clicking on button 1. So if the random number chose 1 and we clicked on button 1, well then in that case, go to UI controls, and I want to show the uWin label. Go to the show element, about near the bottom of the UI controls. Bring it in here, and it should be labeled 2. Let me go back to the design tab and check. Yeah, it's labeled 2. Alright, so I want to show the win label and hide the lose label, just in case the lose label was turned on. Now, if it is not equal to 1, let me click this plus sign here, it gives me an else statement. So if it's not equal to 1, as in if it's equal to 2 or 3, then I want to hide the win label and show the lose label. So let's go ahead and just see what that looks like now. Right now, x should be equal to a random number between 1 and 3. If I click on button 1, it'll tell me if I got it right or wrong. Alright, so I got it wrong. Now, it doesn't really change at all. And to really make a good shell game, we want to have multiple rounds. So here's the thing. Remember how I made a function for makeRandom up here? Well, let's go ahead and put that function in here. We're going to reset our random number so it's put under another cup. Because otherwise, it'd be too easy. So let's go to functions. We're going to bring out this call again. And I want you to put it outside of, I don't know if you can see it or not, but notice I have the blue field for my if-else statement, and then I have the myFunction call. Alright. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my function, of course, to makeRandom. And with that, I should have a basically functioning shell game, allowing me to lose or win. Okay, cool. And that's basically what we need for the shell game. I mean, obviously we do need to go back to UI controls, bring out the on event thing again, make one for button 2, bring out that if statement again. By the way, it's structured very much like your hypothesis statements from science. If blank, then do these things. I will have to get out those show label and hide labels again. And I'm just going to go ahead and do a little bit of that. And if you can do that for this, for all three buttons, then you will have your completed shell game. I know we kind of rushed through this one. I'm sorry. The lecture video I had prepared from of what we actually did on Friday did not record correctly, and yeah, sorry about that. But hopefully this is helpful enough, and you have your fellow peers there to help you out, and then of course me when I'm back on Tuesday. Alright, thank you very much for following along. Wish you a lot of luck. Behave yourselves, all that stuff. Have a good day, stay safe. See ya. Oh, and do the on event for button 3 as well. And you'll be all done. Don't forget to include the make random call. See ya.